Peace everybody, back with another video. This is supermarkets and more plant-based products to meet demand amid possible meat shortages. And as you can see here in this video thing is the plant-based meat that the supermarkets are going to end up having to carry. And I hope this is some kind of a joke, because you know what? Plant-based meat, what are we, cows? Really? As concerns grow over a beef and pork shortage in the U.S. due to the virus pandemic, innovative plant-based products could be postponed, positioned to capture market share. So, as the concerns grow over the beef and pork shortages in the U.S., so now they want to throw this plant-based meat in our face. We're not cows. We don't eat grass, all right? The horses, the cows, they eat grass. And of course, the sheep, goats. But we're not animals. We're human beings. In the wake of meatpacking plant closures across the country, fast food chains, big box retailers such as Costco, and grocery stores like Kroger have started to limit the amount of meat products customers can purchase at one time. But as customers stroll down the meat aisle, they could soon see an influx of alternatives. So yeah, so now they want to put a limit of meat that you could buy from the store. Um, in other words, you can't buy all the meat that you want because they want to make sure they have enough for everybody else. So this is in the wake of meatpacking plant closures across the country. Fast food chains, big box retailers such as Costco, and grocery stores like Kroger, they have started to limit the amount of meat products consumers can purchase at one time. I mean, come on, this is a little gone too far. This is ridiculous. I mean, what are we? What are they trying to do? Starve us to death? And this is what they want to do now. Look at it here, the sign, ground beef, limit 3. Really? I mean, come on. This is way out of hand here. Nielsen reported that sales of fresh meat alternatives were up 224% for the week ending April 25th, while fresh meat sales jumped 50% in the same period. So that's what the report had showed, that the alternative were up 224% for the week, and it ended on April 25th, while fresh meat sales jumped 50% in the same period. Impossible Foods announced on Tuesday it had sped up its expansion into both brick and mortar, Kroger stores, and online retail to meet the growing demand. So now you get this growing demand that the Impossible Foods announced on Tuesday. It has sped up its expansion into both brick and mortar. The privately held brand's flagship soy-based burger, which made its retail debut last fall, but will be available at over 1,700 stores. Kroger owns stores across 28 states. Well, here's a good thing. I don't shop at Kroger. Thank you, because it's a little too far out of my way. But it will be in 28 states. The privately held brand's flagship soy-based burger. Now, I'm not sure what that would taste like, but I don't think I would want plant-based meat if they're going to do this. Impossible Foods has seen a dramatic increase in the demand for plant-based meat in the last 2 months. Jessica Applegren, Vice President of Communications at Impossible Foods, told ABC News this is evidenced by record grocery store sales in April and an 18-fold increase in retail availability to date in 2020. We expect that to raise to a 50-fold increase by end of year. So now they want to increase it by the end of the year. What is this? Jeez, I mean, seriously, plant-based meat in the last 2 months? Really? This is evidenced by record grocery store sales in April and an 18-fold increase in retail availability to date in April 2020. Now, come on, this is a little out of hand. We're not cows. We don't eat grass. What the heck is wrong with these people? And here's the Impossible Foods thing that they had tweeted on Twitter of what they got. And it's a possible meat thing. Plant-based food remains one of the fastest growing categories at Kroger. We're excited to continue growing our selection, especially as more customers than ever are purchasing meat products made from plants. Kroger's Senior Vice President of Merchandising, Joe Hezeber, said in a statement. So this Joe, whatever his last name is, had plant-based food remains one of the fastest growing categories at Kroger. Now this is I mean, who's gonna want to eat plant-based meat? I know I don't think I would want to, but then again, if I had no choice, I'd rather choose turkey burgers over this. The plant-based product that imitates ground beef in texture, mouthfeel, and flavor skyrocketed to the #1 item sold on the East and West Coast after its initial launch. According to the brand, it outsold ground beef from cows at many grocery stores. Well, I'd rather have the real ground beef than the fake meat plant-based meat, because I don't think I would want to eat something like this and then not have real ground beef, because I'd rather take the real ground beef over this. And as you can see, here's where they got this plant-based patties as Beyond Burger. I mean, this is ridiculous what they're trying to do to us. I mean, these fake news medias, what are they trying to do? Have us killed? Its main competitor, Beyond Meat Incorporated, reported a 141% jump in first quarter revenue and profit on Tuesday as demand for its meatless products also rose. So now they had a 141% jump in the first quarter revenue. That's Beyond Meat Incorporated, that is. Tuesday, as demand for its meatless products also rose. I'm not a vegetarian. I'm sorry, but it exceeded our expectations despite an increasingly challenging operating environment due to the C-19 health crisis. Beyond Meat Chief Executive Ethan Brown said in a statement on the results. So that's what he was saying. That it exceeded our expectations despite increasingly challenging. And of course, here's Beyond Meat, what they tweeted on Twitter. Says feed 1 million plus. Beyond Burgers, plant-based? No, I'm not a vegetarian. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of vegetarians out there that would eat something like this, but not me. I'm not one of those. Kroger also saw a jump on Wall Street after the Impossible Foods announcement on Tuesday. So they saw a jump on Wall Street after the Impossible Burgers. Well, if they would just take Wall Street and disable it, then you wouldn't have that problem. But instead, all these big corporations, they want you to have something that you don't want. Seriously, what kind of mess is this? This is too much of a mess. The brand also announced Impossible, the cookbook, which is available for pre-order, and will donate $3 of every sale to No Kid Hungry as part of its social good programs. Oh, so in other words, these rich people, like the shadow governments and that, they want to feed their family real good with steak and everything else, while we get the crappy ones, right? Ah, I see what they're up to. Well, guess what, you shadow governments, not working. Impossible Foods will also host its first ever virtual cookathon on May 14th, hosted by Eric Warren and chef Tracy Desjardins, to bring attention to No Kid Hungry's effort and help raise funds for the group's C-19 response. So now, May 14th, they got this cookathon that's virtual. I don't know if it's going to be hosted on Facebook or wherever it's going to be at. I don't know. But No Kid Hungry, yeah, these rich people, they want to make sure their families eat good and everything. Well, excuse me, but these rich politicians, oh, I'm sorry, fake politicians who are shadow governments, they get to eat real good while we live miserably, huh? Well, you know what? All of these shadow governments, they're going to be destroyed soon. Then you won't have to worry about this corrupt mess that they have created after Obama have really destroyed our country for 8 years supporting China. America got sold to China. Now, all of the jobs went over to China. The technology jobs went to China. Everything, China, China, China. That's where it all went. And no wonder why people can never get a job here, is because of what they have done. And of course, here's the store shelf with all the plant-based meat. Last month, the company partnered with a San Francisco-based tech startup, Cheetah, to sell its products in bulk to consumers through independent restaurants. And now they partnered up with Cheetah to sell its products into bulks to consumers through independent restaurants. The direct-to-consumer ingredient sales were a result of the Food and Drug Administration's new guidelines that temporarily allow flexibility around food not originally intended for retail sale during the C-19 pandemic. So now the Food and Drug Administration's new guidelines, right? Well, you know what? I don't think anybody's going to put up with this too much longer, with this pandemic. That's what it is. Pandemic. And of course, the direct-to-consumer ingredient sales were a result of the Food and Drug Administration. Many restaurant partners have started selling Impossible Burger directly to consumers, whether as an additional revenue stream for takeouts or as a means of reducing perishable inventory during temporary shutdowns. According to a company statement, inventory sales have become a critical revenue channel for restaurants as dine-in service wands due to shelter-in-place orders and social distancing. Well, guess what? You could take that social distancing and shove it somewhere, because you know what? This whole thing is ridiculous. Shelter in place, you don't have to do a shelter in place. You can go outside. You're allowed out. Many restaurants partners have started selling Impossible Burgers directly to consumers, whether as an additional revenue stream for takeouts or as a means of reducing perishable inventory during temporary shutdowns. Well, temporary shutdowns, yeah, everything was voluntarily shut down because of this scam that's going on. I might as well call it a scamdemic, because you know the shadow governments, they're scamming you. They're taking your tax monies and shoving it over to China. Yeah, remember them? Wuhan, China? Yeah, for their viruses. Yeah, that's where all your tax money is going, to China. And if you think I'm playing and lying, you better think again, because this is what they doing. They already sold us to China. So that's why they're shoving all your tax money over there. And none of you's even, and nobody's opening their eyes to see what they're really doing with your tax money. You better wake up and realize where it's going, because it's all going to China. They're supporting China. And Dr. Fauci is saying, "Oh well," is trying to say, "Oh, I didn't give China $3.7 million." Yes, you did, Dr. Fauci. He gave Dr. or no, Dr. Fauci did give China $3.7 million. Why do you think the virus came from there? Because of Fauci. That man had it in. Remember, 3 years ago, 2017, he knew about the pandemic, but did anybody else? No. Uh, because he knew what was going to happen. But how did he know? Because he was talking to his buddies in China. That's what he was doing. I think I have a feeling he told China, well, you got to let the virus, you got to release the virus, this and that. And then, and this is what Bill Gates is doing to children in Africa, was doing to Africa and India, killing them. And now he's after the American children and the American people, thinking we don't know about it. Well, you know what? You better wake up and realize what Bill Gates is about, because he's a murderer just like Dr. Fauci is. I mean, how hard is it to not realize that what he's doing is what he's doing? Better wake up and realize where your tax dollars are going, because they're all going to China by Fauci, supporting China, supporting the Wahoo, the laboratories in Wahoo, China. Wuhan, China. Sorry, now I had to think of that word. But yeah, that's where all your money is going to. Wuhan, China. You better realize where your money is going, because if you don't, you're going to be blind for the rest of your life and not knowing where your money is going. Leave your comments below. I am out.